Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. And on this one, we're going to talk about surviving the expediting exodus.
Your hustle got to be strong in this industry, as in any other industry.
Alright boys and girls, so everybody's feeling the hurt right now, I'm sure, from the gas prices and inflation in general. You're seeing posts left and right, talking with drivers left and right. They are leaving the industry. They are finding it extremely difficult to make ends meet. And what I'm seeing as well is the rates are just seeming to go into the toilet. Rates are really difficult to get a rate worth a crap. And this here is one of the moments that you're lucky to be with the company that offers a fuel surcharge, because that fuel surcharge does help to counteract the raising gas prices. It's not doing anything about inflation in general, but it is helping absorb some of that gasoline cost. I've never been with a carrier that offers fuel surcharge, but I talk with some drivers and then I see them posting talking about the fuel surcharge, so it's got to help. Gas cost is just crazy. I don't know if the fuel surcharge is compensating completely for the gas cost. So any of you that are getting a fuel surcharge, let me know in the comments. Is it fully compensating for the rise to where it's basically it doesn't even affect you? It's not affecting your profit margin on just gas costs. I'm just really curious about that, because I don't know, again, because I have no experience with fuel surcharge, how much they compensate for that. With us that just do all in, and most carriers that are running a flat rate to the vans, it's a matter of trying to bid higher with the brokers, and they just... Now, again, do you know if the brokers are able to get it from wherever they're getting the freight, the customer or whatnot? Who knows? I believe that they have the money in there even before the gas prices went up and before they even had to ask for more money from the customer, but that's just my opinion. I honestly just think the brokers are being greedy with the money, and right now they've got drivers in a good pickle, in my opinion, because drivers are becoming more and more desperate right now. And from what I'm seeing, they're trying to work off of volume. They're trying to they're making short money, which what I mean by that is the rate is low. And so they're trying to increase volume. So they're trying to increase load count and overall mileage and try to work in volume. But all that's doing is accumulating a in-volume expense. The more you run your van, obviously the more maintenance you got to do, the more gas you're using, obviously, and the gas is just killer right now. I mean, it's just ridiculous to think about that. I mean, gas is more than double. More than doubled. I mean, what used to cost you $150 in a trip, now $300 and some dollars. That's a huge chunk to take out of your profit margin, because again, the rates aren't counterbalancing. They aren't counteracting the gas costs and inflation costs. So, to those of you that are looking to get into the industry, and I seen a post, just real quick, I seen a post the other day where somebody's saying, basically, there's always a negative to getting into the industry. So, basically, is it really that difficult right now? Because everybody's always telling me why I shouldn't get in the industry. And that's true. There are a lot of people that try to keep people from getting into the industry. If they don't come across the right information to lead them in the right direction, then they may feel like they're being told not to come out here. Whereas, a lot of times information is just being given, as far as looking at worst case scenario to make sure that they're aware of those things before they come out. But right now, with everything the way it is, vans are overpriced by anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. Just for instance, there was a 2017 Ford Transit. Got all the bells and whistles on it. Decent shape. It's got a few little dings on it. Nothing major. 206,000 miles. And they started off wanting $36,000 for that van. Okay? And to put that in perspective, when I bought my 2017, I didn't have all the bells and whistles, but when I bought it, no miles on it, just a few miles they get it to to where I got it. But anyhow, that van cost me $40,500. No. Sorry, I take that back. $39,500 is what my 2017 cost me brand new. And they want to charge $38,000 for a 206,000 mile van. So that's just to give you an idea how much they are inflating these prices. And just a little side note on that is I went out and test drove it. Thing drove fine and everything. And I was like, man, I'm not buying a van in this market. I'm just going to keep waiting and keep waiting. Well, he kept emailing me, and I seen that he kept dropping the price. It had finally gotten down to $28,500, I believe. I told him $25,000, and I'd come try and take it off his hands. He was like, oh, man, we've already dropped it $8,000, and it's $5,700 under book value. It's a great deal. It's like, man, go get some other sucker. Like, it's under the current market's book price, but no, it's still way overpriced. But anyhow, just the other day, he emailed me and said that they're getting ready to send it to auction. So if I want it, I better hurry up and come get it. And you go send it to auction, buddy. Like, that's how much luck you're having selling it. You're sending it to auction. So anyhow, my point is, the vans are overinflated. Inflation in general, as far as your food costs, drink costs, everything is raised. And obviously out here driving over the road, gas is our biggest expense. And so that's why right now it's definitely not the time to come out. But just like I commented on a post the other day, somebody was kind of similarly saying, hey man, I'm hearing all these things. Simply what I said was, in the current market, with everything the way it is, gas prices, overinflated cost of a van, and this is somebody wanting to, looking to go buy a van and do all the things he needs to do to come out. It ain't like he's already got a van and all that good stuff, got to go purchase a van. And I said, it's just, simply put, you're just not going to make the profits that it was before. You will profit. At least you should. And that's my thing. That's the one positive thing you can take from this, is that you will profit if you do things the right way. But is the profit going to be worth what you have to put into it to make those profits and to make that money? I was watching Big D's video earlier, the one he just put out today, and he's saying, is it worth the sacrifice to make this amount of money, the money that he had made at this point for the week? And he's saying how no, if this is the amount of money you're going to make for the whole week, it isn't worth the sacrifice. Now again, that's up to you, the individual, to decide whether it's worth the sacrifice. Maybe this is the only means you have to make money with your skill set and your education level or whatnot. Maybe you enjoy the freedom of being on the road and enjoy the idea of not having a boss right over your shoulder. Like, there may be some intangibles that make it still worth it for you. So this is something you need to figure out on your own. And if you don't have the experience in doing this, you're not really going to know for sure. So, you're looking to make that step to come out. It's just, realistically, you have to be very, very smart with every move you make. That's each load you take. That is the money you spend and how you spend it. When you're on the road, rather than eating out of a truck stop, you go to the grocery store, you buy groceries and you cook, or you buy some things in bulk, whatever it may be. But you have to be very smart with every decision you're making in the market as it is right now. Like, right now I'm sitting at home. Monday I'll be going back in service and heading out. And I'm planning on going out and just trying to hustle. I mean, just really trying to put in work, just grind. Make smart decisions on what loads I'm taking, what time of the day, what location is going to, all of those things. And we're going to see how it's going to work out. Obviously, I'm accustomed to relocating a lot. It used to be, oh, it's only $30 to move over here and get into a better location. Well, that $30 is now closer to $100. So it's like, shit, do I want to spend $100 to get in a location that it's not extremely better? So there's a lot of decisions that you got to make, and make them, you got to be on point with your decision making. One of the things that you really need to know in order to help your decision making that a lot of people don't know. And when I say don't know, it's not that it's a secret. It's they don't choose to take the time to understand and figure out this. And that is their cost per mile to operate. It's beyond me why so many people don't know that. It just absolutely blows my mind. Even before all this just accentuates it. Like this, what's going on today, and people not realizing what it costs them to operate, and they fail. It's just like, dude, why the F didn't you pay attention sooner? Like, and that's the thing. Like, in this industry as a whole, in the transportation industry, here's one of the, in my opinion, one of the biggest things that happens to people is there is so much gross money coming. And by gross, this is another thing a lot of people don't, differentiate the correct way. Your gross pay as opposed to your net pay. What's actually profit, what's going into your pocket. Too many people look at gross as their net. And that just, again, that's another thing that's totally just, I don't understand. I don't understand at all. I just seen a post a few days ago where somebody did a little video collage of their trips. And they're showing their gross pay on each one. Like, one was like coming out of Texas at like 1,600 miles, and they got $1,300. And then there's a positive reinforcing message after that, like, oh, it can be done. That's gross. That's gross, guys. Like, know the difference between what you're getting paid for the job and what it's costing you to do the job. Subtract it from there and find out what you're profiting. Like, it's not that hard. It's not rocket science. But you need to know that cost per mile. Like, for instance, whether you want to do it, like I have a spreadsheet that I've created. And I put in my expenses and my gross income and my miles and all that per trip. So it's keeping a running total of my cost per mile. It's keeping a running total of my rate per mile for just loaded, rate with loaded and deadhead, rate with loaded, deadhead, and any kind of relocating I do. So all miles. But just simply, the simplest way to understand that is take a 1,000-mile trip. You're looking at, you take your average fuel mileage, which I just did for number's sake, 17. Take 17 into 1,000. I believe it came up to like 58 gallons and something. Then you take that amount of gallons and you multiply it by whatever gasoline average you're using. I did $5 at the time, and I think it came up to $294 and some odd cents. So with 1,000 miles, you take 1,000 miles, divide that into the 294. That gives you 29.4 cents per mile to run just gas. So if you want to get all your costs, you get in all your other fixed costs like your van payment, your van insurance, your maintenance costs, your tolls, the things that you're putting directly into it. Anybody who wants to go further and they want to put in their food, they want to put in their entertainment, they want to put in everything else that you're spending money on a daily basis, you can do it that way too. I mean, that'll tell you whether you're living, beyond your means. But as far as the business, I take just business expenses that are related to the business only, and that's what I did, which is just my van payment, my van insurance, my toll, my maintenance, and then my gas costs. Everything else is just living. So that's something I would be spending no matter what job I had. But anyhow, it came up to an additional 20 cents for those other costs. So you combine that with the 29 cents, so it's costing me roughly 50 cents per mile to run. And to put that in perspective, 2 years ago, I did a video talking about how much money I made, and I went over some of the expenses and everything. And I think my cost per mile that year was like 34 cents. That's a huge hit. You're talking an additional over 100,000 miles, and 100,000 miles. I mean, you're talking about another $17,000 in expenses that you're incurring. So, understanding how much it's taking you to run your business, and being able to take that from how much money you're generating, you're grossing, the revenue coming in, it's going to help you significantly. If you keep track of those things, if you don't have a spreadsheet, keep track of it on paper. Just use old school pen and paper, man. It's not that difficult to do the math, because too many people are just trying to chase that bank deposit. That's all they're doing. Like, oh, I just did a run, and, well, I know all this money's coming in there, and then they look at their bank after all that money comes out that they've been spending, like, where the hell did my money go? Oh, well, it went to the gas that you don't realize is more than double the cost. It went to that $5, roller grill items that you bought one night. It went to the $6 couple of pops you bought. It went to the $7 couple of energy drinks you bought on that trip. I mean, you just got to be smart. And that's the only way that we're going to get through this. Anybody that makes it through this, it's because they was smart with their money. Or, I mean, some people may be able to just straight hustle their way through it, just straight work and work and work. But if you're mindful of what your expenses are and what kind of money you're earning, you're going to get through this. It's going to be tough. And for me personally, I'm just trying to basically ride the wave and kind of coast through it and just go with the flow. Because, again, I understand there is a profit. I'm going to make enough to pay my bills, and I'm going to keep my vans, and I'm going to be able to stay in business. Those things are going to happen unless something happens to me personally, physically. So understand that you can come out here and you can still succeed, but it's not going to be as easy nor as enjoyable as it was just 2 years ago. So be mindful, guys. Again, this wasn't meant as a negative thing. This is just kind of a trying to, I guess, kind of like shake some sense into you, man. Like, be mindful. Understand what you're doing. You got too many people out here lying to you about rates, and that's extremely disappointing. I really don't want to get in no rant about that, but it is. It's just very, very difficult to deal with that stuff. Little side note, I just got an email from my brother with the rate con to one of my driver's loads, and in the bottom of the rate con it says, "We do not pay detention." How is that for some freaking bullshit? Cheap ass mother suckers, man. They are some cheap ass. Hopefully he'll never use them again. I have to look and see who that is, man. I think it said World Jet or something. That's just that's asinine. That's just crazy. All right, so real quick, I wanted to go over the little formula, so to speak, to try to figure out your gas cost per mile. So it's miles divided by miles per gallon equals the gallons of gas you're going to use. Then you take the gallons of gas, multiply that by the gas price, and that gives you your gas cost. Then you take your gas cost, divide it by the miles, and that'll give you your average cost per mile. Hopefully this gave you a little insight and give you a little better understanding of how to survive this expediting exodus, because you can do it. Put in the work, use your brain, don't make dumb decisions with your money. You're going to get through it. This will turn at some point. Again, I've mentioned it before, not sure when, because this administration is, not handling things the best, to say the least. A good way to look at things, the way I look at things during all this, you accept, you adapt, and you roll. And in order to do those things, just pay attention to the things I mentioned in this video, and you will get through this. Any questions, any comments, put them below, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. Other than that, everybody out there, stay safe, keep rolling, and be smart.